Alright, so today I'm going to share with you guys really quickly my experience that I had at the Manomonie, Wisconsin 10-day Vipassana course center place. So I went there and I did the 10-day course. You have to do that as a new student. They won't let you do the 2 days or the 5 days or anything. You have to go and do the full 10 days, your first sit. So I went there, signed up for it 3 days before, and got accepted. I was kind of surprised that I was accepted, or I got through a wait list right away very quickly, and it was awesome. So I took off. I went up there, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't do too much research on it. I did a little bit, but there wasn't a lot of stuff on YouTube to really find out what the meditation is for and what it's about and why people say they had such a good experience when they went there. So I'm going to share with you guys what my experience was and why I believe it's so good and what it actually does for you and how you can apply it practically to your life. So I'm going to kind of wing this one. I haven't really planned out this video, so I'm just going to kind of word vomit. So first of all, you go up to the course. You have to take 10 days and you devote those 10 days with absolute dedication, and you have to just make sure that you're not going to quit the course because it's pretty hard. It's not like a spa day to go up to this 10-day course and you're just, oh, I'm going to go up there and meditate and get a massage. It's like 10 and a half or 11 hours of meditation every single day, and you wake up at 4 in the morning. They come in at 4 in the morning with a little gong, and it's like, bong, and you got to wake up and start meditating. So you get there and you have to observe noble silence the first day that you start meditating. And what that is you can't talk to anyone, you can't call anyone. So you turn your phone in, you don't have your phone or any distractions, there's no reading material, you can't talk to anyone, you can't make any eye contact with anyone, you can't read, you have no reading materials, you can't make gestures with anyone, just no communication whatsoever. You're 100% silent the entire time, aside from there's a couple at points where the instructor asks you if you are understanding the meditation or if you have any questions on it. You can ask him a couple questions for a few moments and then you go back into your noble silence. So what the meditation actually is, you start with 3.5 days with meditation that is focused on just concentration. So you are just there observing the sensations of your breath entering and exiting your nose. So it's a triangular like area that they give you that you focus on, and you just sit there and you focus on your breath. And this is to make your mind sharp enough to be able to feel more subtle biochemical sensations that are happening on your body. And so you focus for 3.5 days, and it makes you go crazy. You're kind of like starting to go insane because you've been doing the same thing for 3 days. But every single day there's one discourse, and it's an hour and a half at the end of the day, and you learn a little bit more every single day about the meditation that you're going to do the next day. And so you're learning a little bit every single day. It'll keep you motivated to keep going because honestly, there is a lot there. The whole course almost, I was like, man, like I could probably just do this at home. Like, why would I spend so much time? Like, I feel like I could go have fun at home or do something. You want to run away. You want to not be meditating all day. So there's these discourses that kind of convince you to like stay longer, and they teach you more things and say, all right, tomorrow you're going to learn this and we're going to keep going. And in retrospect, looking back at it, I'm really glad I did the full 10 days. Especially on like day 4, 5, 6, I was like, why am I here? I want to run away. But it starts to get more interesting on day 4. So after 3.5 days of just focusing, you actually learned Vipassana meditation. So what that form of meditation is you are observing the sensations that you can't normally feel or you don't normally feel on your body. So for example, we'd sit there and it would be in silence. You are not supposed to move. You're allowed to move around, obviously, if you're really uncomfortable, but you're supposed to try and kind of fight it and just stay still through the whole meditation. I'll get to that a little bit later. But you sit still and you focus on the sensations that you feel on your body. So after 3 days of just focusing really hard, you actually do get quite a bit sharper mentally, where you're able to just focus for a long time. So for example, the first and second and third and fourth day, it was just really hard. There was periods where I couldn't focus for more than like 20 seconds and I'd start thinking about other thoughts. Your mind's like a roller coaster, always moving and moving. And so over the 3.5 days of focusing, you get more dialed in, and you can really focus on just watching your thoughts come into your consciousness, and you realize that you're having a new thought coming up, and you're watching that, and you're kind of letting it go. Once you start Vipassana, you start on the top of your head, and you draw your attention there, and then what we're taught to do is kind of draw your attention to different points in your body, and you kind of like draw lines, or like you focus your attention all across your body, and you're supposed to draw your attention to every single part of your body and scan your whole body. So you start on the top of your head, and you work, and you make sure you literally bring your consciousness to every single point in your body. You start on the top of your head, work everywhere, all over your scalp, and then you work the different areas of your face. So I would go like this with my attention, and I would bring it to here, and I would bring it to here, and you start to learn how to do it symmetrically, so you can do 2 spots at the same time, and you actually start to feel very strong. They're subtle, but they're really there. You feel these sensations on your skin everywhere, and it feels almost, they say it feels different for everyone, but what I was feeling was kind of like, imagine not so like a little ant, like the little like fire ant kind of guys, the little ones just crawling on your skin, but it's not like a weird creepy sensation. It's just like a nice, like pleasurable tingly sensation that you feel. And so you draw your attention all over your body, and you draw your attention everywhere on your chest, and everywhere on your arms, and everywhere on your legs and feet and everything. And then once you get to your toes, you work your way back up, and then you go back down. And you pretty much draw your attention across your entire body for the entire length of the meditation. All right. So when you are meditating, you will feel a couple different sensations, and you'll have a lot of thoughts that come into your mind, into your consciousness as you're trying to meditate. So for example, you will have more pleasurable, like blissful, kind of nice tingly sensations that you'll feel all over. You will have you'll find pains in your body, so you'll actually have like real pains that come up in your shoulder, in your neck, in your back when you're sitting for a long time. Especially, it's kind of getting used to sitting, but then there's also pains that you find that are within your body that you kind of have to work through. And there are also blind spots, and that's pretty much an area where you bring your attention, you feel a sensation, and I don't feel anything here, and so you focus on it, and then you either feel something there after a while, after really focusing on it, or otherwise you move on and you come back to it later. So those are kind of like the 3 things. There's good sensations, painful ones, and there's blind spots. So the good sensations, to my understanding, they represent kind of like cravings, or like lustful like thoughts, or just indulgences, like, so maybe like a sexual craving, or a desire for more material things, like a nicer car, bigger house, stuff like that. So there's cravings, and then the pains that you feel can kind of be represented by aversions, or like maybe hateful thoughts, or fights you got into that you kind of stored within your fights you got into with like a family member or coworker or something, or just hateful thinking. And then there's blind spots, which are kind of interesting too. You don't feel anything, and those can be represented by maybe false worldviews. And that's actually what the teacher told me. He's like, if you have a blind spot, it might like represent like an ignorance you have, or like a false worldview. And so that's what he kind of told me. And so as you're going through and scanning your body, you will just have an eruption of thoughts and emotions and things that are being drawn to the surface. So a good way that I can kind of explain it that makes sense to people is that you have cellular memory, like some kind of cellular memory stored all over your body, and when you're drawing your attention there, it causes those memories to be released, and you get to re-experience tons and tons of memories and different emotions. Sometimes they're strong, sometimes they're just like, oh, you feel a little bit happy, sometimes you feel a little bit angry, sometimes you just feel so angry, and sometimes you just have this blissful eruption of energy that just comes from your stomach when you're scanning your body. So for example, I won't tell you that yet, but so you're scanning your body, and you'll get these thoughts, tons and tons of thoughts that come up that are associated with reactions to things that you've had in the past. So I had tons of thoughts, a lot. It was a very strong consensus that all the guys I had lots of like lustful thoughts that came up throughout the course, and your job is to observe those thoughts. So you will have lots and lots of thoughts that come up, and memories, like weird memories of your childhood, when you had like a fight with your mom at the grocery store when you were 3 years old. Like things like that will come to the surface, and you'll remember them. And so what your job is to do during the meditation, and it comes like, sometimes it's like tons of stuff coming really fast, and sometimes it's like one thing at a time, but what your job is to do is you kind of have your emotional state right here and the memories and thoughts that are coming up, and what your job is to do is to kind of just withdraw your actual, like your controlled consciousness. Like you have your consciousness here, and you're paying attention to those thoughts and memories and emotions that are arising to the surface, and you get to pay attention to them objectively. So you try and remove yourself from the emotion, you try and remove yourself from reacting to it, or kind of like basking in that pleasurable like memory. So like something good comes up, or like a sexual desire, your job is to remove yourself emotionally from that and not react to it with emotions. And when you do that, it allows it to kind of be released from your body. So you're paying attention to maybe a sexual desire that comes up, and you're like, oh man, like I didn't know that was there, and it comes up, and you're watching them, and you kind of just withdraw yourself from those, like from like following that trail, or like thinking about it for very long, and you just say, I see it, I'm observing it, I'm staying equanimous to it, I'm being indifferent to that emotion, and you let it go, and then it kind of disappears, and on to the next one. And then so like all these like pleasurable sensations are just associated with all these lustful thoughts and desires and different things that you've stored within your body. Like you just had a reaction, you're like, oh, I really want that car, and you're just thinking about some car, or you really want to date some girl, or you really want to hook up with some girl, and all these like lustful thoughts are stored as the pleasurable sensations that you can feel and that come to the surface in like inside your head. And then the painful one, like I'll have like, I had all these like angry emotions that came up. I'm not really an angry guy, but there was definitely a couple angry emotions that came up here and there. And I just had like these weird memories of like different fights or like things in my life that have come up. And you just train yourself to observe them objectively and withdraw yourself emotionally from this emotional memory, this reaction that you had to something a long time ago. And when you withdraw yourself emotionally from it, you get to kind of experience it just from a different perspective. So you're watching this event, this thing that happened in your life a long time ago, where you thought this person said something, and you thought they said, like, you took it the wrong way, and so you were angry at them when they didn't really mean it that way, and so you have this false worldview, and so you kind of gain perspective on different experiences that you've had in the past. And that's what different people and like meditators, and I don't know, you've heard it before, people are gaining wisdom from within when they meditate. They're literally like watching an old experience that they had and withdrawing themselves from the emotion associated with it, and they are learning about that situation from a new perspective. So they're gaining wisdom from within through experience. And that's what they mean there. And those are the blind spots, or your false worldviews. You get to re-experience those, watch them happen without emotion, and then you know more. You become more wise from that experience. So there's the pleasurable sensations, the false worldviews, the fights, the angry ones that are painful sensations. And so you get all these pains that come up, like you're sitting there, statue of Buddha, just meditating, whatever you're doing for a long ass time, and you get pains in your neck and your shoulders, and you focus on them, and they get pretty bad sometimes. There was one in my neck that was like kind of behind my ear in this area that I've never felt before. I've never felt that pain like working out. I've never injured it there before, but it just hurt so bad during meditation. And what happened, it was like the first 3, 4, 5 days, it just felt like this, like imagine like a metal claw that was shaped like this was just ripping apart my flesh, and it just felt like this massive, tense, angry sensation, just so much turmoil and like inflammation. It hurt so much. It was like 8, 9 out of 10 on the pain scale, and it was inhibiting me from meditating. But what I had to do is just kind of like learn to meditate and live with it. And it was hurting for like 5 or 6 days, and on the 6th day it just went away. It just disappeared completely after I just went through enough like I don't know, emotions, enough memories. They're called sankharas, and sankharas, whatever. They're pretty much stored reactions. So those are the blind spots, pleasurable sensations, and ignorances, worldviews that are false, stored within you. And so you work through them, and you release these cellular memories, these emotions, these stored reactions from your body, and that's what Vipassana meditation is. And it's just a great process to kind of remove yourself and relieve yourself from all this emotional baggage that's stored within you. And yeah, that's kind of the explanation. You're just removing yourself from reactions, like emotional reactions that you've had, and going through that. Once you do that for 10 days straight, you have all this stuff that comes to the surface, and you're just letting it go and letting it go. You're really like digging deep down into your subconscious mind, and like you're allowing things that are stored within your subconscious mind to just kind of be released from your body forever. And when you do that, you're releasing these like seeds of suffering. So you're releasing them from your body, and when you do that for 10 days straight, you come out feeling great. You feel peaceful, you feel happier. Everyone is just like smiling, so they're just cheesing. Everyone's cheesing out because they feel so great, they feel so happy, they feel more relieved, they feel peaceful. And so that's kind of what the Vipassana meditation course is all about. And as you go on, if you get better and better at it, you learn to probe all over the outside of your skin, and as you get better at it, you take it deeper into your muscles and bones and flesh, and you draw your attention throughout your entire body, and then you keep doing that and doing it more until you kind of completely relieve your entire body of all these reactions that are stored within your body, at which point you have no more sankharas stored within your body, and you become enlightened. So that's what Buddhist monks are out there doing. They're practicing Vipassana in attempts to completely relieve themselves from suffering forever. So that's kind of the explanation of Vipassana. I would like to add one more cool part. It's called Bhanga. So Bhanga is kind of defined as like a free flow of energy that you get to feel. And so Bhanga is what happens when you kind of clear a certain area or your whole body of all these sankharas, or like kind of cellular memories or whatever they are stored within yourself. And so at one point I experienced Bhanga, and it was pretty cool. So you're drawing your attention from the top of your head, and at first I was drawing lines. You could feel the sensation. I was drawing lines literally with my consciousness, and then you learn to do it symmetrically. So you're feeling two spots symmetrically across your body. And at one point, I did it, and it was like a ring. So you draw your consciousness, and it's a ring, and you feel every single part of your body around where this ring is. And I cleared everything out of my head for a moment, and it went down and just flowed over my head. It was like, whoo, and then it goes up, woo, 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 and it started going up super fast, and it was like a super quick vibration that accelerated very quickly. And then I experienced over the course of a couple moments, that vibration got very quick, and then you experience this feeling that your head has completely dissolved into a state of vibrations and energy, and it's completely detached from this physical reality, and it's just completely energy. It's kind of a very very strange feeling that's kind of hard to explain unless you really actually experience it. But it happened for about maybe like 2 seconds that I felt that, and then I got really excited because it was like really weird, and then it stopped because I reacted to it emotionally, and it stopped, and and then I had a massive like kind of eruption of this blissful energy that came up from my stomach, and just it was like an eruption of happiness and joy that just came up from my stomach, and then I just flat out started laughing in the middle of a meditation session. So it was pretty interesting, and I highly recommend that everyone should do it at least once in their life, because you learn a lot, and it feels really interesting, and I think that it's one of the practices, it's the only practice that I've really done that just like truly has a lot of substance behind it. So do some more research, sign up for a class. I'll see you guys later.